Welcome to aminacademy.com. In psychology of sex, let us discuss about arousal, orgasm, and postcoital behavior. Arousal is essential for sex. Evolutionary theorists argue because sex is gross. Naked bodies, bodily fluids, and unusual sounds are all generally things that outside of a sexual context. Many people find disgusting. Disgust is a core human emotion and an important one. It helps to alert us to potential pathogens and foster survival. But sexual disgust can prevent couples from reproducing, and so human have may evolved to allow sexual arousal to supersede disgust, thus perpetuating the species. Is sexual arousal is reliable feeling? Not always. Often sexual arousal is a sign of passion and commitment between partners. Foreplay equally important to women and men. Contrary to say that stereotype that men are primarily interested in rushing into intercourse and climax, research has found that men desired an average of 18 minutes of foreplay, very close to the average of 19 minutes sought by women. Women, however, significantly underestimate how much foreplay their male partners wanted. Other research has found that longer free play leads to greater relationship satisfaction for men and women. How important is kissing before sex? For women, kissing can be very important, much more than men. Women report finding it important to kiss a partner before sex, and they are more likely to respond using kissing as a way to evaluate their interest in a new partner when considering having sex with them or not. Should couples schedule sex? According to many sex therapists, they should. Different levels of sexual desire challenge many couples, but for others, high levels of desire for each other. The calendar becomes the enemy of satisfying sex because of conflicting work schedules, childcare, or other commitments. What is orgasm? An orgasm or climax is the intense and usually pleasurable release of sexual tension after a sexual arousal and stimulation. During orgasm, one's heart rate and blood pressure rise, breathing becomes faster and heavier, and involuntary muscle contractions occur, not only in the genitals but often in the hips, chest, head, and limbs. In men, orgasms typically involves the ejaculation of semen, though not always. In some women, orgasm also leads to the release of ejaculate. Research suggests that only about 1 in 4 women regularly reach orgasms during vaginal sex, while more than three quarters of men do. What happens after sex? What is sexual afterglow? Some researchers believe that the most important part of sex occurs after climax. The term sexual afterglow refers to the positive feelings that follow pleasurable sexual experience, and some research suggests that it and not the sex itself determines how positively people feel about their sexual partners. Cuddling, kissing, and other expressions of intimacy after sex can increase the afterglow, boost satisfaction, and extend the positive effect of sex on a relationship. What do couples talk about after sex? Research on pillow talk following sex has debunked the myth that men fall asleep first after sex. There is no evidence of a gender difference. Also, women who reach orgasm during sex tend to talk more intimately after sex, revealing more about themselves. The release of the hormone oxytocin during sex, which promotes bonding, may foster this effect. Men with higher levels of testosterone after sex, however, appear to talk less, limiting bonding. Now we'll discuss further detail about this interesting topics: arousal, orgasm, and post behavior. Psychology of sex, arousal, orgasm, and postcoital behaviors. The psychology of sex involves the mental and emotional processes leading to sexual arousal, the climax of orgasm, and subsequent postcoital behaviors, which can range from feelings of well-being and intimacy to fatigue of or a feeling of being out of control. Mental and physical stimuli trigger arousal, which is a rewarding sensation in itself and serves as a primary motivator for sexual activity. Orgasms involves a complex interplay of neurotransmitters and brain activity, followed by a resolution phase where the body returns to its baseline. While both men and women share these phases, men typically experience a refractory period after orgasm, unlike women who may be able to experience multiple orgasms. Sexual arousal triggers. Arousal can be initiated by both mental and physical stimuli such as touch and hormonal fluctuations. Sexual arousal is triggered by a combination of internal, that is, thoughts, memories, emotions, and external stimuli like touch, sight, sound, and scent that activate the brain and body's sexual response system. Erotic contact, erotic content, direct physical stimulation of erogenous zones, and emotional states like desire or insecurity can all serve as triggers, leading to hormonal changes, increased blood flow, and psychological factors that create a subjective feeling of arousal. Next is motivation. The pursuit of arousal and the promise of orgasms are significant motivations for sexual activity. Sexual arousal is a physical and psychological response that can be driven by various motivational factors, including internal biological processes like hormonal changes, that is, testosterone, estrogen, oxytocin, vasopressin, and external triggers External triggers like sexual incentives or social situations. It involves a central motive state and is associated with psychological changes and behaviors such as approaching a partner. The interplay of these internal and external factors, along with cognitive evaluations and emotional factors, creates the complex experience of sexual motivation and arousal. Involuntary aspects. Even without orgasm, sexual arousal itself is a rewarding and enjoyable experience for many individuals. Now we'll talk about orgasm. What is orgasm? An orgasm is a powerful, pleasurable physical sensation of sudden sexual tension release. characterized by involuntary rhythmic muscular contractions and intense pleasure, typically experienced at the peak of sexual arousal. It occurs during sexual activity after often involving the stimulation of the genitals or other erogenous zone and can differ in experience from person to person. Brain activity. During orgasm, decisions making centers in the brain can become less active, leading to feeling of being out of control or more daring. During orgasm, the brain experiences increased activation and the release of chemicals like oxytocin and dopamine, leading to heightened sensory perceptions and pleasure reward response. Key brain regions involved include the reward centers, that is, nucleus accumbens, emotions and memory centers, limbic system, hippocampus, that is sensory areas, motor areas, the brainstem, that is hypothalamus, and the frontal cortex through some part of the frontal cortex become less active, contributing to feeling of losing control. Neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters like oxytocin, dopamine, and vasopressin are released. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that allow nerve cells, neurons, to communicate with each other as well as with muscle and gland cells across a tiny gap called a synapse. They, they carry signals from one cell to the next, influencing everything from movement and emotions to heart rate and memory. These molecules are categorized by their structure, such as amino acid, peptides, and monoamines, and their balanced function is crucial for maintaining health. Psychological response. In females, oxytocin can cause uterine contractions, while in both sexes, it is associated with feeling of bonding and pleasure. During orgasm, the body experiences several synchronized psychological responses, including rhythmic pelvic muscle contractions and significant increase in heart rate and blood pressure and heavy breathing. Neurologically, there is a shutdown of a sympathetic nervous system and the brain releases neurotransmitters like serotonin and oxytocin, leading to euphoria, relaxation, and a subsequent feeling of contentment and drowsiness. In males, is this stage involves ejaculation, while females may experience vaginal contraction. Postcoital behavior. What are they? Postcoital behavior refers to physical or emotional response after sexual activity, including both normal experiences like cuddling and more complex postcoital dysphoria or post-sex blues, that is PCD. While some people feel satisfied or connected after sex, others may experience sadness, anxiety, or irritation, which can stem from individual factors, relationship dynamics, or even evolutionary drives to form bonds or prevent unwanted pregnancy. Evolutionary theories suggest sex differences in postcoital behavior, with women potentially prioritized bonding and men potentially seeking to distance themselves, especially in short-term relationships. Resolution phase. After orgasm, the body returns to its normal state, a period of resolution. Activities and memory emotions that occur after sexual intercourse, which can include postcoital dysphoria (PCD), negative feelings like sadness or irritability, as well as other actions such as bonding, affectionate exchanges, and practical behaviors like showering. These behaviors can vary significantly between individuals and are influenced by factors like gender, relationship context, that is short term versus long term, and evolutionary reproductive strategies. Emotional states. This can be accompanied by a sense of well being, enhanced intimacy, and fatigue. Next is a refractory period. Men typically enters a refractory period after orgasms during which they cannot achieve another orgasm. Female multiple orgasm. Unlike men, some women can experience multiple orgasms due to a rapid return to the arousal phase with continued stimulation. Postcoital dysphoria. In some cases, individuals may experience postcoital dysphoria, a negative emotional state after intercourse that has been linked to factors like attachment anxiety. So far, we discussed in psychology of sex, we talked about arousal, orgasm, and postcoital behaviors. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.